Miss Patricia said that your bones can break if I, like, tap them. Is that true?
Yes.
So what's your superpower? Your mind? What's mine?
You're 9 forever, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's incredible. You can see the world the way it really is. Always. The kid who can never grow old. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yeah.
And action! It's a fight like you've never seen before. Nothing about it seems cartoony at all. It just seems very real. Like, these are people that we interact with every day that happen to be a little stronger than everybody else. And when you put two of them together and have them fight each other, it's electrifying.
Relative to Split, the action sequences in this movie are really at another level.
The physicality was relentless, because for a smaller budget movie that doesn't have 2 weeks to shoot one action sequence, instead of using CGI, we were doing a lot of that stuff ourselves.
James is very physical. He's game to do stuff. Obviously, there's some things I won't let him do.
I had an amazing stuntman. Zach was incredible. The animalistic run, what it's like, he's bounding, that was Zach. It was exceptional.
And he throws his punch and you move.
Doing that fight scene with Bruce was great, hanging on to him and trying to crush him to death.
They had it planned and figured out really well, and there's a hell of a lot of thought and practicing that went into it.
For me, it's thought out, choreographed, and we're gonna live and die by the momentum, because you're gonna move at the pace that I am saying. We are making a comic book movie that is 1/10 the cost of every other comic book movie. We have to make it feel grounded, and yet, on some level, have to compete with that level of spectacle. I believe in minimalism. I believe we do our best work when we're faced with the parameters that you can only do this much. These are your tools. Figure it out. Cut. That's a cut. Excellent. I got 4 prints. You good? Yeah. Check it. Part of the fun, I think, of doing Glass, and when we show it with an audience, their reactions are catching all of these references and just feeling in the pocket with having known Unbreakable so well and seeing what are the connections 18 years later is really powerful. We were so lucky to get those guys to come back and reprise their roles, and I think it really honors the Unbreakable fans. One of the fun moments of the movie for us is when Mr. Glass, or Elijah, puts on his stuff for the first time in the movie. He goes to the room that they kept all of his things, and he finds his original Mr. Glass wheelchair, which has been in my house for the last 18 years. So there's a little room I have with all the movie memorabilia, and so it's been there. We literally wheeled it out of my house and onto the set. From Unbreakable, I have in my house Elijah's glass cane, which is an amazing prop. I just absolutely love that one. The cinematic languages of the 3 movies have to follow a certain pattern for me. There's certain things like the use of colors, for example. Primary colors and really pungent colors were used for the comic book world only. And so in Unbreakable, it's a very monochromatic world, and then as Elijah's unfolding his theory, you start to see these pops of color everywhere. In Split, because nobody knew they were in a comic book movie, we really muted all of those colors and made sure that they were there but not pungent. The only really big pop of primary colors comes in the last scene of the movie where Bruce is in, and you see the big reds and all those big colors, and we finally let them loose there, because in his world, he's aware of the comic book world around us. But in Glass, that's what everybody is thinking about. So we had the opportunity to really use color in a big way. For example, when you get to the hospital where they're trying to convince them that they have a disorder, that they don't really have these gifts, you'll see the primary colors kind of fading. There's a pink room, right, where they have the therapy, and that for me was kind of red going to white. The color schemes from Unbreakable are starting to get muted again. This is where they start to disappear. In terms of choice of colors for the 3 movies, we were pretty careful about the 3 guys and their 3 colors. So Bruce is green, and green for me is kind of the life-giving color. Purple was for Elijah because it's a kind of royalty associated with royalty. That's how he thinks of himself. And then the ochre kind of mustardy color for the beast and the horde came from the connotations of that color, which is used a lot in Buddhist religion and in the Hindu religion. The beast is essentially a preacher, a prophet, an evangelist. So that's how I use those colors through the movie.